What's up guys, my name's Hunter Dodd, coming back to you with another video, and it is officially Disability History Month. Now we're focusing on hidden disabilities at the minute, and personally I will be covering Asperger's syndrome. So, honestly, dealing with Asperger's you come across a lot of stereotypes and a lot of myths. So we are going to go ahead and debunk a few of those. The first one obviously being that people with Asperger's simply grow out of it, I suppose you could say. Now that is definitely a myth. Unfortunately, it's not something that we can just grow out of during childhood or puberty. Whichever way you want to say that we grow out of it, it's not a thing that happens. Unfortunately, it is a mental disability and we live with it for the entirety of our lives, but I wouldn't necessarily consider that a bad thing, to be honest with you. I kind of view it as somewhat like a superpower. Myth number 2 is that we have something called social phobia. Now, what this is, it's quite often described as anxiety disorder, and don't get me wrong, adults with Asperger's do experience a considerable amount of anxiety. I do personally, but it's not necessarily to do with being around people in general. Like, we are aware of the fact that we cannot pick up on social cues, well, for the most part. So we are anxious of the fact that maybe we're not going to understand what someone says to us and we're going to misinterpret it. It might cause an argument or an upset, which is entirely unintentional, and it's something that's quite difficult to deal with. I mean, obviously there are ways of coping with that and learning to pick up on social cues. We have to learn how to pick up on social cues and notice that, like sarcasm, jokes, anything that's remotely not to the point and black and white. We have to learn how to identify those, if that makes any sense. And the third and final myth is that we lack empathy. For some reason, Asperger's means that we lack empathy, and this is simply not true. Personally, the people that I know with Asperger's, as well as myself, are the most emotionally empathetic people I've ever met. If we are aware of the fact that you are sad, we are able to place ourselves in your shoes, and we are able to feel that sadness with you and then help you in a manner that is 10 times more effective than what, for example, cognitive empathy is. And I'll provide an example below of what that is, but yeah, we have empathy. We don't lack it. We just sometimes have difficulty distinguishing between emotional empathy and cognitive empathy, because they're a bit difficult. But last but not least, to anyone out there who thinks they may be struggling with being on the autistic spectrum or Asperger's, ADHD, whatever it is, it does not define you as a person. Yeah, it makes things difficult. You view the world differently, you view people differently, you view the way people talk to you differently. And sometimes that is difficult. Personally, I have my good days and I have my bad days. But it does not define who I am as a person. And we are just people. We may be a little bit different, but we are just human beings at the end of the day. Those are the 3 myths that I wanted to debunk specifically. And yeah, I hope it kind of gave you an insight into what Asperger's is and how people can learn to cope with it, as well as not necessarily live with it, but learn to embrace it as part of their daily life and not be ashamed to say, hey, I'm on the autistic spectrum, I have Asperger's, I have anything, and not be ashamed of it. But yeah, that's me. So I will see you in another video, and I guess I'll see you later. Bye!